beverage has been on my mind for a while. I love dill, I love kvass, so I guess the question is, how did we get here? Well, it's late summer in Latvia and the dill has come and has now blossomed into beautiful umbels, and I've picked them alongside the bees who were also having a bit of a field day. This made me wonder whether honey from dill flowers tastes different, but that's another thing to investigate. The dill flowers have a much more lively flavour punch than just the dill tips, so they're perfect for shining through the bready flavours of kvass. One revelation from the last kvass in New Zealand to this one is the bread. Caramelizing is the bread that I was using. It's a fantastic bread company here in Latvia that makes some spectacular loaves. They're from the Gulbene region, from the town, you guessed it, Caramelizing. For this kvass, I wanted to do something a bit on the lighter side so the dill could really go toe to toe. I toasted it not once but twice to get it nice and dry in my shitty Valrex toaster, and then put it into this huge jar that my wife acquired. Now, the process from here is pretty simple. Toasted bread in the jar with sugar and boiling water. But I wanted to get a caramelly note on the drink, so some brown sugar got a bit of a extra caramelization. Now, brown sugar is a little weird. It's got a lot of molasses in it, and I'm not sure how this affects it, but when I added the water, it eventually recrystallized before the water ran out and eventually melted again. But either way, it browned and it smelled of creme brulee. The whole room smelled like that. I added a little bit of water to it to loosen it up, and then poured it in and began the waiting game. Night came. The concoction was below 30 degrees Celsius, and I added the dill I had collected. I pushed it below the flotsam and jetsam of the bread to let it infuse very well. It's important to do this when it's cool, as it allows the dill flower flavour to stay vibrant.
I've lost my voice again. Shit.
And the following yeast addition to work well. I covered the opening, shrouded it in an old box, and then I just waited. The smell coming from it evolves over the 2-day wait period. Day 1 smells like simple brewing kvass. Day 2, the dill shines through, and it starts to have this fermenting, slightly sour smell. I know the yeast is running out of food at this point. It was time to strain. Multiple rounds of straining to get the pulp out. And most of the fine matter, and then it goes into the bottles with a feed of brown sugar, about 30 grams in each bottle, and allowed to sit for a day and then refrigerate until cold. We have dill kvass, and I am excited. All right. Let's see if we got a pop out of it. I'm dreading this. Jesus! Oh! It's got a shit of a fright. That is glorious. That is absolutely glorious. All right, let's try the other one. Oh, not so bad, thank goodness. This one was leaking in the fridge a little bit, and I'm actually quite glad because that last one was terrifying. Let's pour a glass and see how it tastes. The foam we have had. Oh, glory. Oh my gosh, what is it about Latvian bread that makes it just so much better? That is ideal. Okay, now for the taste test. Yeah, the dill is really upfront. It smells of kvass, but when you taste it, the dill just sort of works its way in. Sort of the way dill works in the garden, actually. The dill sort of threads its way through the garden until it's absolutely everywhere. Same deal here too. It's got more of a floral note to it. It's quite light. It smells very, very good. And I think I've finally done something that I actually think is better than my favourite kvass. That's by far the best kvass I've made. And not even including the fact that there's dill in it. I think as a base kvass, it's very, 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 very tasty. I could wax lyrical about this beverage, but look at that. I'm just happy that it's bubbly. So one of the bottles actually popped off this morning because I was leaving it out on the bench to ferment a little bit, and it was the gin bottle with the pop topper, and I knew that that probably wasn't going to hold it in, and sure enough, yeah, it popped this morning. Luckily it didn't fizz everywhere, but it also means that I think we need a very, very strong seal, and that red one, that red bottle I started off with had an incredibly strong seal on it, whereas other ones like this just don't. This one hasn't even been in the fridge yet, and it's got nothing. It's completely flat. So I guess with a proper topper on it, we might get some different results. So it might just be down to how strong you can get that bottle seal, adding a good amount of sugar right before you bottle it, and then just leaving it to sort of sit and get nice and sort of busy in the bottle before we crack on with the chilling. So yeah, either way the flavor's great, so give it a go.